Whoa.
Whoa. Careful, puppy. Good catch. I didn't even see that. No, papa. No.
All right.
That's the way the story goes.
That's how we'll start the show right there. Welcome back to the Chris Konya Show. I have Joe Mora with me from the Vision Automotive Group.
Hello, everyone.
Joe is a great friend of mine. He's doing a lot of great things for Rochester. We have a very, 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 very special guest that you probably know about already because it was in the description. Of course, we have to, get the word out and get people listening to and watching the show. Joe, if you don't mind, we'll get right into it and talk to
Buffalo University grad, All-American wrestler, ranked 8th in the nation at one point. Also a UFC fighter, cage fighter, Desmond the Predator Green.
Des, what's up?
Man, I'm chilling, bro. Chilling. Pleasure to be on here. Rochester's own and Rochester's own,
I really appreciate it. You're my first big guest aside from my buddy or, the local comedian or something like that. So this is a huge milestone for the show. I want to thank you, of course, for your time, and Joe for making the connection. I really appreciate it.
No problem, man. No problem, man. Minute Joe called me up that, listen, you want to do a podcast with Chris? He's got this thing going from the time. This and the fourth, I was off work. I'm nobody's more Rochester than me. I can't live there and train there, but my gym being here, my management team being in Florida, all I can do is reach out and touch wherever I can. So it's a pleasure, bro. Hopefully this won't be our last. I'm sure it won't.
No, I hope not either. All right, let's get right into it. It's no surprise that you're a man of faith. You're heavy into your faith. And I wanted to know how that's helped you, two parts, how that's helped you with training in MMA for the UFC and in your everyday personal life.
Yeah, so, I grew up, mom and dad raised me in the church, you know what I mean? And, of course, as I got older, I strayed a bit away and, I came back and went away and came back. But, it's always been rooted in me. And, like one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible say, raise up a child in the way that he should go. So when he gets older, he won't depart from his ways. And, that's typical me. Nobody's perfect, but just my faith in God and Jesus and knowing that everything in life is yours for the taking. Like, we're all kings. We all have a purpose. It's helped me with my career because, I think the statistics is 2% of athletes make it to the UFC. Like 2% of people who wrestle or, do anything who have hopes to get into the UFC who actually try, 2% of them will make it there. And I've always thought, even from when I was 16, when I first wanted to get there, why can't I be a part of that 2%? Nobody said there's no blueprint to it. The only blueprint is just to work hard and, have that faith. And, so that's helped me get there, going through college. I went through hiccups everywhere. I went through hiccups in high school, went through hiccups in college, and even after I graduated, I fought on the local circus for 5 years. Some people, they get mad if they don't reach their goal in 6 months to a year. Imagine going 5 years without reaching your goal and just staying determined and, finally getting there. A lot of people, it's not made for everybody, but like I said, I tell everybody, just imagine for 5 years you don't get what you want. Are you still going to be able to go that 4th year, that 5th year, that 6th year? And that's what's helped me get to the UFC. That's what's helped me be the kind of person I am. You know what I mean? I got 4 kids. Here goes one of my guys. He just spoke up. But, yeah, man, that faith just helps me, just helps me grind, just helps me get it.
You mentioned high school, college, all that stuff. There's a friend of ours here in Rochester. His name's Chris Vitale. And every time the name Desmond the Predator Green comes up, he can't wait to tell people. He can't wait to tell people that he beat you. Is that? Are you flattered by that, or is it like one of those things you don't want to be brought up?
Yeah, no, bro, not at all, bro. It's so funny. Wrestling is a big community. It's like not big as in numbers, but it's a big community as like we got a lot of love for each other. So anybody that I've wrestled or wrestled with or against or even in the vicinity. I always have a good memory of them because only a select few people really like wrestling and enjoy wrestling. It's a hard sport. It's a man's sport. It's one of the original sports of the human race. So, I remember Chris Vitale, yesterday, man. It's so funny. I think he had a brother, too. But yeah, man, big ups to Chris. Yeah, that's my guy. Cool people. It's cool people. I love to hear these stories. Like, a lot of people always reach out to me. Like, yo, listen, I don't know if you remember me. I got a pretty good memory when it comes to things like that, and I got nothing but love for all those guys. You know, some people, you know, they get to where I am and they get higher and they kind of get stuck up and pretentious, and you know, they like to cut ties with you know, with their history and their background, but not me. I'm like, I got nothing but love for anybody if you know me. And if you don't know me, I still got love for you, but especially if you know me and, you know, you've been through some things with me and we got some common ground.
Speaking of hometown stuff and, you know, you feeling the love from Rochester, let's go back to May 18th here in Rochester. Big night for Desmond Green. How did it feel right before you left the locker room knowing there were thousands and thousands of people that you have interacted with personally in your life growing up, going to school? So walk me through those couple of seconds before walking out of the you know, locker room to come to the octagon to fight in your hometown.
Oh man, I tell people all the time, like I legit, prior to that, you know, I got, you know, like my teammates, they got like real popular teammates. Every teammates got like Rashad Evans, the welterweight champ, Kamaru Usman, Michael Johnson. They're all telling me, yo, listen, you know, I know you've been there, but there's nothing like fighting your hometown in front of your home people. There's like it's going to be overwhelming. It's going to be something that you're going to have to get used to. And they're trying to put me on the game to get me ready for it. And you know me, I'm like, nah, man, it's nothing. Like I could fight in front of my hometown. It's easy. I won't be nervous. I won't be none of that. Man, when I stepped out there on my way there, and I could like see the crowd getting roaring. And like you could feel the vibrations. I got shook up, like in a good way, but in a bad way. I was like chills went through my body. I'm like, I don't know if I could curse, so yeah. I was like, oh shoot, for lack of better words. I was like, oh shoot, like dang, this is for real. Like now, like you know what I mean? I done jumped off the porch, ain't no turning around. Like I gotta actually perform in front of all these people. And it's different. Like MMA, man, it's a one-on-one sport. So like you go out there and you lose, like, bro, I don't care if you're the best in the world, it's embarrassing. You know, nobody wants to get beat. Like that's what it is. Nobody wants to get beat up, and nobody wants to get beat up in front of everybody they know. You know, so I'm going out there with all these crazy thoughts on my head. I'm like, bro, the game is crazy. You know, like, bro, you could be winning the whole fight, and somebody closes your eyes and throws a kick or throws a punch, and boom, you knocked out. Face down on a mat tap. You're like, hey son, you all right? You wake up like, oh, what happened? No. So I'm like, I'm thinking all these things. I'm like, man. I'm thinking all these thoughts like, yo, bro, you got to be perfect. You got to be careful. You know what I mean? And I had a great fight, but honestly, I couldn't perform like I wanted to because, like, I was extremely nervous. That's the most nervousness I've ever felt. And but it was great. That was also the best feeling I've ever felt. Mm-hmm. Like being able to perform at the Blue Cross Arena, like being a kid from Rochester. I'm still Rochester. I got the flower and the 585 tatted on my body. Like as a kid, I can't even fathom. Like, all you want to do is rock the Blue Cross Arena. It's the biggest stage in Rochester. It's where professionals come and play. It's like the biggest form of entertainment is going to the Blue Cross. So not only do I get to rock the Blue Cross, but 2 days before we go out there, you know, Dana White and Sean Shelby, they come and, you know, they sit all the fighters down. They're like, listen, this is going to be a sold-out event. This is great, blah, blah, blah. And I know Sean Shelby, the matchmaker, he has his eyes on me because – you know, I was like one of the bigger buzzes there with me being from there. And, you know, so I'm just like, dang, like now I gotta rock out to a sold out arena. I got all my friends and family there, but man, it was great. Like it was a high like no other.
Desmond, going back to that week in May, what a great experience, not only for the UFC, but for the Rochester community, along with the Rochester City School District. I know that you came into 45 school at the city of Rochester, and the UFC, not only did you guys donate a bunch of things to the youth, but you also had a sit down with the youth that were going into high school. Take me back to that experience and how it felt for you to give back to the community and listen to the young kids talk to you and ask you questions.
Oh man, that was great. You know, that was one of those things that, you know, you kind of had to be there to feel the love. And Joe, you were there because you set it up. You could just, like, when I went up to talk, you could see the brightness in the kids' eyes. Like, when I got up to talk, literally every kid and teenager with a short attention span, they were all wide-eyed, sitting in their chairs still, like, listening to every single word. You know what I mean? And it was just amazing to see, you know, especially me being young. I was there before. I was in that seat listen to professional athletes come and talk to us. I remember going to the Bills camp, listening to, like guys like Eric Moulds and whatnot talk to us and, like kind of give a little bit of, inspiration. I'm like, dang, I want to be like him one. I want to be a professional athlete. And then so for the Rose Rivers, and, I got that opportunity, and it was great, especially to give back in, a community like that. Like, my time at 45 school was great. And it was even doper that the UFC put on and gave us so much gear for the thing, you know what I mean? Like, you send pictures after the kids rocking their socks and their hats here. And, yeah, man, like, that's one of those things that, no matter what happens, I'll always be able to look back and be like, dang, like, I really put on for the city. The city put on for me. They showed a lot of love. And it lights a fire in me because I want to go back and I want to do more now. I want to get bigger. I want to build bigger. I want to, touch more kids, touch more schools. So it's motivation for me.
I know you're aware of this already, Des, but Joe is pioneering a great event coming up in Rochester next year. And we're going to get to that because we want people to wait to the end to hear all about it. Joe, is that okay that we talk about this in a couple of minutes?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But so I was looking up some stuff, and I heard that UFC fighter Gregor Gillespie, right? He's such an avid fisherman, right?
Yep.
That I heard, and I don't know if this is true, that when he goes into the octagon, he looks at his opponent and thinks, this guy is keeping me from fishing right now. The one thing I love to do the most in the world, aside from your competitiveness and sheer determination. Is there anything weird, even if it's just half a thought of something that runs through your head right before the match starts in the octagon, right before the fight starts?
Yeah, so I want to, and this is, I don't want people to think, oh, he's an angry guy or an angry when I fight, but it's some of the thoughts that run through my head. And my best friend, Michael Mancari, he helped me realize this because a lot of times, I in my previous career and my beginner fights, I would go out there and I would kind of do just enough to win, just enough to get by. And my friend was like, yo, bro, you got to go out there and not take it so serious. You got to have a little bit more fun. And also, but take it as a point that if you, no matter who's fighting, no matter how good they are, because I was always fighting a hometown guy, a bigger guy, he was like, just think of it as it's just you and this guy in the street, and he has a knife, and he's trying to hurt you. You know what I mean? And like that, and it's I don't want to say it because a lot of people already have a bad name for our sport, but that's kind of how I look at it. I'm like, this guy's trying to hurt me. He's trying to my arm. He's trying to choke me out. He's trying to knock me out. My biggest thing and my biggest love is my kids. So when I go out there, I think like, man, this guy's trying to embarrass me in front of my kids. Like I let my every fight I have, my kids come to the shows. Joe knows. Joe see, Chico, which is my son, my oldest son, he's there every time. He's even ringside sometimes. And so the fight before this, I had fought in Philadelphia. And I had a first-round knockout over Ross Pearson, who's a tough winner, seasoned vet. And after the fight, my son goes, oh, Dad, I saw you. You went out there, you took him down, and you went boom, boom, and punched him in the head. And, like, that lights a fire on my soul. Cause I'm like, yeah, like, yo, my little man knows, like, Daddy is a man. So whenever I step out there in the cage, I'm looking at that guy, I'm like, yo, he's trying to embarrass me in front of my kids. You know what I mean? I'm Superman right now. I want to be the Joker to my son. I don't want to be the guy that's losing. I got to be Batman. I got to be Superman. So every time I go out there, I always think that I take it a bit personal. Like, man, this guy's trying to embarrass me in front of my kids, embarrass me in front of my family.
Speaking about embarrassment and kids, as a full-time father, what's something that your kids have you doing or watching or participating in that you never thought that 18, 19-year-old or 15, 16-year-old Desmond Green never thought he'd be doing? A tea party, Baby Shark? What are you dancing and singing along to that you would be embarrassed to share?
I got a 4-year-old daughter, and she just got into like painting her nails and the makeup and getting all prettied up. You know how girls are. So like just the other week, she's painting her nails and whatnot. And she wants, Daddy, I want to paint your nails. And I'm kind of like, in my head, I'm like, I'm a man, baby. I don't paint my nails. But, I a little leeway. Okay, listen, you can paint my toenails, So listen, this is funny, so it gets better. So I let her paint my toenails, just to have a little fun, boom, because I always wear socks and shoes. So fast forward, she does my toenails. She's all happy. She said, oh, yeah, I got to do Daddy's toenails. Now, the next day I had practice, and we practiced with no socks or shoes. And I completely forgot to even wash off the paint my toenails, because I'm not even used to painting my toenails. So the thought didn't even cross my mind the next day that I gotta wash this stuff off. So I go into practice with all my UFC buddies, and I'm gearing up, and like my toe, she uses, she's using pink, yellow, orange, like real girly colors. So they're like, yo, bro, what the hell is wrong with you? And at first, I still didn't catch on. Everybody's laughing. And I'm like, yo, like, da-da-da. They're like, yo, damn, you on some weird stuff, Des. And I'm like, what you talking about, dog? And they're like, yo, you painting your toes now? I'm like, no. I'm like, no, it's not like
got the
that.
Fruit Loop feet.
Like, my daughter, yeah, bro. I'm like, nah, man, my daughter wanted to do my nails last night. We all got, they're all like, oh yeah, sure, but they knew, but they got a good little kick out of it. But things like that. I got my daughter painting my nails. She got me singing a Baby Shark song, watching Powerpuff Girls all over again. So yeah.
So you say all over again. So that means you used to watch it.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Mojo Jojo was a bad dude. As one of the villains on Powerpuff Girls. I used to be on it, bro. They call me Toon for a reason. I love cartoons.
Perfect. I wanted to ask this question. It's kind of weird, but if you could fight a fictional character, anybody from any cartoon or movie that's not a real person, who would you want to fight?
Let's see. It's a list out there because I got
you got a cartoon hit list.
Oh yeah, bro, for sure. I think top of my list might have to be. Let me think on this, because I want to give you somebody good, somebody that I really have some issues with. Actually, you know who I want to fight. I want to fight. I was pretty pissed at.
I never liked the Blue Power Ranger. He was always a know-it-all, Billy. I never liked that dude. I mean, it's kind of, fighting down a little bit because he's known as the geek, you know what I mean? But he always he's the know-it-all. I didn't like that. Joe, you got somebody in mind?
I always wanted to fight a Ninja Turtle, man. Just like, let's go,
Which one? Donatello, Raphael?
Raphael. I wanted to fight Raphael. Like,
he had an attitude problem.
He had an attitude. Like, yo, come on, we can go,
Yo, so you guys know Slade Wilson? Slade, he's the guy that was fighting Deadpool.
Oh yeah.
I always wanted to fight Slade because he tried to blow up my boy Deadpool, take his family. I'm a big Deadpool fan too. He's got the two swords. He thinks he's all tough. I'm like, all right, bro. I would get at Slade for sure.
So Desmond, a lot of people know, obviously now that you're in the UFC, but you said something about your road to UFC, and one of the big things that I always admire when I look at your career and I look at your history and what you've accomplished is the fact that people don't realize you're an All-American. You had a free ride to Division I. You wrestled for a university in the local area, and how much you've actually overcame in the different strategies, and having a brother, and that was by your side, and what you learned from your brother. I mean, take us through that course and what you gained from and learned from your brother and from your college experience.
Rewind back to high school. My senior year, I didn't get any offers from anybody to get any full ride scholarships until literally the last part of my senior year. I won the state championships in wrestling. Now, boom, I win that, and I'm getting all types of offers. And this is a guy's truth. You can ask my mom. I'm turning down colleges left and right. I'm talking Pitt. What's some other big colleges? Edinburgh. I even had the chance to go to Virginia State. Penn State. All these colleges were trying to offer me scholarships to go, and I didn't want to because, growing up, I always wanted to be like my brother. He was a big-time gangster. He was in the streets, and he actually got locked up my senior year, which kind of changed my whole thought on wanting to be a gangster. He went to jail, upstate prison. We're talking five-star correctional facility out in Elmira. That's a max prison. He got caught with armed robbery. And, when he first went in, he told me, yo, listen, bro, I know you want to be like me, but this isn't it. He's like, yo, it's just you, mommy, and our little sister now. You got to be and want to take care of it. You got this sport thing going for you. So ever since then, I kind of changed up my whole attitude and everything. I was like, all right, I'm going to do something. I didn't know what it was I wanted to do, but I'm going to do something to take care of the family. So fast forward, University of Buffalo calls me. And, the coach will tell you himself. On the phone, I'm like, he's like, yo, we want you to wrestle for us. We want you to come up, do a visit. I'm like, it's okay. I'm in college. And he's like, what? You just won the state championship. You're like number one in your state. I went out to nationals. I was top 12 in the nation. He's like, what do you mean you don't want to wrestle in college? We're offering. He's like, I can't give you a exact number, but he's like, we'll make it worth your time. And I'm like, no, it's okay. I don't want to go. I planned on just chilling in town with my boys. We were going to get an apartment. I was going to go to MCC. I had it all planned out. And a couple weeks later, I come downstairs in my boxers, no shirt on, just chilling. I see these two white guys in the living room. I'm like, oh man, damn, I done got in some trouble. They're talking to my mom. I'm like, oh Lord, what did I do? I'm like, y'all they detectives. I used to get into some stuff back then. I swear. So I'm like, I stop at the top of the stairs. I look at my mom, and she looks at me. She's like, you forgot to tell me something? So
Oh no.
now I'm really like, oh man.
You're going to get the belt. You're like,
she's like, this is yeah, bro. I'm like, here we go. So she's like, this is these are the coaches from University of Buffalo. They said they talked to you and they were trying to get you to come up for a visit. I'm like, oh yeah. And she's like, no, blah blah blah. Short story short, she pulled the mom card, forced me to go up there for a visit. I go up there for a visit. I meet some real cool dudes on the team. This is cool. And then my best friend a week later told me he got accepted to enter UB. So all right, cool. My best friend got accepted into UB. UB wants me. It's only an hour from home. I could do that. Boom. So I go to UB. I have a real successful career. But then my senior year, my junior year, I was ranked number 8 in the nation. My senior year, I've always been an avid weed smoker. I think THC is great for you. I love it. As long as you're handling your business, I don't see an issue with it. I got a medical card here now. I wish they would have been did it. Maybe I wouldn't have got in trouble in college for doing it if I would have had a medical card. But short story short, my senior year comes up and I failed a couple drug tests and they spun under the rug a bit. But, they were trying to revamp the whole system and they were really getting after me. So my senior year, I got kicked off the team / I quit because they kind of told me, listen, you either keep smoking weed and we're going to test you. If you fail, we're going to kick you off or you quit. And I'm like, I'm like, I had a kid at 20 years old. I'd never been ineligible. I wasn't even a school guy, but here I am busting my tail for the team. I'm ranked number 8 in the nation and they're mad at me for smoking some weed. So I'm like, let's just say it was both in time walking in my coach's office. And to this day, he told me, he's like, yo, when you did that, he's like, I didn't even know what to say. He's like, I've never seen anybody more straight faced and serious. And he's like, I wanted to choke you, but I couldn't. But I told my coach straight up, I'm like, he did tell me that. I told my coach straight up, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to quit the team. I'd rather smoke weed and do my own thing. I told him I'm going to fight. I'm going to get to the UFC. So boom, that happens. They take my scholarship for my last year. Now I didn't even plan on going to college my senior year. They took the scholarship. They say, we're not going to pay for you to go to this last year. So it's cool anyway, because I'm going to start this fighting and get into the UFC. Go home that summer, mom pulls the trump card again. No, you're going to go back up there, take out loan, finish your last year. Because I only had like 20 credits. So I'm like, okay, fine. Took out a little loan from man. Finished my senior graduate and got my degree, my bachelor's degree in health and human services, and started fighting soon after. And it was a rough road. I started in Ithaca. I was amateur for like a short while, then turned pro. I had a lot of success. I made it to Bellator in the first year. Then Bellator had they got a new CEO in, and they cut me. I had a winning record, but they were just trying to revamp the thing. And I had to start from square one again, fighting on local shows. I went from fighting on TV back to fighting on local shows and whatnot. Fast forward 4 years of just, fighting for a lot of money, no money, in the country, out of the country. I finally landed a deal with the UFC 4 years later. That's what I said. It took me 5 years to get there. Most people that's fighting, there's some people fight career only lasts about 5 years because they either get burnt out or they figure they're not good enough to make it. Like I said, only 2% make it. But I always had that faith. So, fast forward 5 years later, I finally make it to the UFC, and now we're here, and I'm doing good. I'm making moves, and moved out to Florida about 3 years ago, and that's been it.
So it's no secret that you've been through a lot, with your manager, with this big incident that happened down in Florida, where, from my understanding, you didn't really talk to a lot of people about this because, actually, can you explain the reason why you really didn't do a lot of media about this incident that happened, the crash?
Yeah, so, about almost 2 years now, I got into a 5-car pileup with me, a semi-truck, and I think it was three other cars. And, ever since it happened, I knew that it was going to be a legal case involved about it. So, I tried to keep my my sayings and my attention to it short because, I didn't want to incriminate myself or others. But, I've held the same stance of me being innocent that, this crash wasn't at the fault of me. It was a semi truck. And, almost by before any charge or anything came up. The crash happened, I think, in August of 2018. And 2018 or 17, 2018, August of 2018. And then, in June of 2019, they brought up charges against me. And, I lawyered up immediately because basically it's hearsay. The semi truck said I swerved into his lane, and and then he hit me, and then I spun out, and 3 cars ran into the back of me, and it was fatal. 2 people, God bless, they lost their lives. 2 people got seriously injured. And then I was telling the officers from the get-go, the semi truck swerved into my lane, and that's how the crash happened. And so I think they were trying to do an extensive investigation, which I don't really think they did. I think from the get-go they were kind of just eyeing me because in court it's easier to go against an individual than a whole trucking company, and that's kind of what we're dealing with now. But my lawyer, he's almost confident that we're going to be able to shake all of these charges, even with the blood tests that they did. There's errors in that, and we feel like that's faulty. The accident reconstruction, they didn't do a full reconstruction. They were kind of just going off of he say, she say. So, I'm still going to court about this all, and, these legal proceedings have to take forth. But, we're pretty confident that soon the truth is going to come to light, and I'll be completely exonerated in the whole matter. But, that's what happened. And, I pray for those families every night. Something this tragic would happen, and, it was an accident. And, I just thank God that I was able to walk away from it without any serious injuries or, fatalities to myself, So that's kind of where we're at with that.
Well, I appreciate you opening up about that. A lot of people wanted to know what was going on, and it says something to your character that you do decide to talk about this, of course, when you're ready, but you're not just hiding under a blanket forever and expecting it to go away. So that's really honorable. I really, truly, from my heart, appreciate that. Now, Joe over here has been obsessed with this. First of all, as a general statement, obsessed with helping the youth of Rochester. I think helping youth in general, but he's starting with Rochester. I don't want to speak for him, but every time I talk to your friend Joe, my friend Joe, about what's going on in our lives, he's always got something cooking to help other people other than himself. So, Joe, can you tell everybody about this idea? Because that's really what it is right now. I know some things are moving, but what's this big idea about this big way to give back to the youth of Rochester?
Well, first and foremost, we look at the city of Rochester and what the youth challenges are in the city of Rochester with poverty, poor health care, poor education. A lot of families just don't have the income to allow youth to excel in sports. Desmond's one of the few of many that have come out of the Rochester area to make it to the large markets in sports. Looking at the community and how culturally diverse Monroe County is, I look at the youth sports as an opportunity for the youth to have a better life and have an avenue where they can gain education and gain experience. So I always try to come up with a team with my network team that we work together to figure out ways that we can help the youth in sports. So myself, Matt Jones, Chris obviously is on the board, Desmond, and a lot of other young, successful minority men and women, and also Caucasian men and women, have come together to create a youth sports fundraiser that can help youth in the Monroe County area go to the elite camps, whether it's the UFC strength and conditioning camp or the LeBron James basketball camp, the Ken Griffey Jr. baseball camp. All these camps cost money. And in youth, the talent in youth sports that we have here, they need a little push, a little help. Families may not have the budget to do that. So myself and my team, we're coming up with a basketball tournament calling corporations to donate money and their employees to help fund youth sports and help fund youth growth. So that's what we're planning on doing in April, and I know that Desmond has already signed on, and so have you, Chris, to say, hey, let's put this together. And so that's really kind of the gist of the beginning of it. But there's so much more detail that can go into it. We can talk for an hour about it. But I know that I have a team along with me that's going to really help the youth sports. And I know Des is the first one to say, Joe, I'm in.
Yeah, I'm excited about it, bro. You know, especially me being, you know, an athlete, like, you know, growing up in the city of Rochester, I could attest to these summer camps and these extra bit of, you know, physical activities and going outside the comfort zone. It's what really opened my eyes up to knowing there's more out there than just, you know, what your uncle, what your brother did. You know, there's so much more out there, and this is a great way to help expose it to the youth, you know, by giving them something they can actually do. Like Joe said, a lot of kids can't afford to go to these super expensive camps. So, you know, I feel like, you know, if someone has made it out, it's just my job to help make it easier for them to attend it. And I'm excited to get after it.
So we can count on you for being here, Des. If ever anybody hears about this tournament, they're going to know that they're going to be able to see or meet you that day.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. Not only seeing meet me, but you know, I'll be interactive. I'll be hands on with everybody. So, you know, please come
now
and get those grades up.
Absolutely, Desmond, because grades are going to play a very important part. And also, youth, you have to go to school. You have to get to school. You can't miss days of school because it's all going to be qualifications on us to be able to help you fund some of these camps. Now, Desmond, I want to ask you, and I'm going to ask you on air, I should say. Can we say that any youth parents that bring into the team or bring a team into the tournament, will you allow their kids to do a 3-day strength and conditioning camp with you while you're here in Rochester that week?
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. You know, and like you said, anybody that meets the qualifications, you know, I've already started cooking up in my mind what I want to do for this training, for this 3-day, you know, training and exercising session. And, you know, so please, you guys, meet those qualifications so we could get after it. And, you know, I promise to give you guys some good work, some memorable times, and, you know, even some stuff that you guys could take home with you after the camp is done.
Wow.
So, definitely.
That is huge. Congratulations, Joe. That's a big characteristic of this camp that's really going to make it, you know, 10 times bigger. Desmond, the Predator Green, flying across the country, back to his hometown in Rochester, giving back to the children. It doesn't get better than that.
Yeah.
Des,
they can tell their friends, hey, man, I got trained by a UFC star.
Hell yeah.
So make it happen.
That's amazing. Thank you, Desmond. We really appreciate that. We know that when it comes to Monroe County and the youth, they can always count on Desmond and Predator Green, not only to represent the city with class, but also give back to the youth and tell them that anything is possible if they put their mind and their spirit and their faith to it.
That's it.
Des, thank you for your time. Let's talk again before this tournament or just in general whenever we, you know, get a chance. I appreciate you coming on the show, putting the show on the map in Rochester and, of course, in the UFC community. I really, really appreciate your time. Joe, thank you so much for hooking this up.
No problem.
More details on this basketball tournament and whatever's coming before, during, and after that, you can find it here. Subscribe, please. You know, help get this Rochester-based show off the ground. Des, your time is priceless. I really appreciate it.
Oh, man, my pleasure. I can't wait to do more with you guys.
Hey, Rochester, Desmond, the Predator Green.
See ya.
See ya, Des.
All right, boss.